Welcome, everybody, to the NBA Live 98 Fantasy League. This is Week 5, Day 2, and we have an exciting matchup for you today, and I am joined by the man, BuzzThunder. Buzz, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Coach. Thanks for having me here today. Looking forward to this matchup. Game doesn't think Sandpeel and Suns can rebound, but I don't think that's true. This game's kind of weird the way it pumps out statistics.
It is pretty interesting. Sand has a really fast team, which is one reason why he has such a good record. It seems that speed is really important in this game, as well as three-point shooting.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, I would say that Kevin Johnson, KJ, is probably the league MVP just because he seems to put up like ridiculous numbers almost every single night.
I'd have to agree with you there. If not him, then maybe even Steve Nash for Sandpeel. And whenever, if Kevin Johnson isn't going off one night, Steve Nash is going off the other. As far as Justin Man goes, his stars are usually Reggie Miller and Mark Price.
Yeah, very, very solid lineup. Wasn't say I thought that Justin Man on paper it said that he's one of the better team. Well, I guess not overall, but the best scoring.
Was he the best scoring? I don't remember exactly. I remember actually Kite's team was supposed to be the best on paper, but it didn't really turn out that way for Com versus Com
Oh,
play.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's this game's still a mystery to me as far as what happens. I figured if you simulate enough with the way that our teams are, it seems like I think things get closer and closer together. I'm
I've
not
noticed
really.
that too.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd say over a longest period of time, like everybody might have the exact same record.
Yeah, I think that Kite just ended up picking players that just for some reason does not translate well to Com versus Com play. The defenses are really interesting in this game. You'll see, like right now, you see Sandpeel and double teaming out on the perimeter. That really seems to be the most effective defense. Whenever my team, they kind of take a defensive break sometimes, just kind of stand there, kind of like that right there. If you just saw,
Yeah.
whenever they just stand there, you're going to give up lots of threes, and it's really really frustrating when your team does that.
Yeah, the double team in it is interesting because, like you said, that's the most effective because your shooting guard a lot of times. Well, you saw him try like three different times there. That was, I think that was Reggie.
To do like a
Or no,
to do like a spin move or something and drive
right? Yeah.
in.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're on single coverage, it'll take one or two tries and it'll blow by him. Oh no, that wasn't Reggie. This is
Mark Price with the ball right now.
Yeah, Mark Price. Yeah, he was doing that. But yeah, with that double team, he's trying to do that spin around move, and he just can't do it. And as long as there's a guy in his way, he'll stop. Just the way the computer does it.
There's another defense that's really effective as well, and I don't know exactly what it's called, but they sag back a whole lot, and a lot of passing turnovers happen whenever that kind of defense goes on. So
Yeah, there's all sorts of goofy passing stuff. But another thing I was going to say about the double team that's interesting is like even if you're double team like sometimes down low or towards the half court line, they can just kind of muscle you back like out of bounds or over the half court line to force a turnover.
yeah, the backcourt, but fouls are not called in this game at all. You never see free throw shooting in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one or two times per game, free throw shooting will happen. So yeah, oftentimes the defender will just push back. Oh, I didn't know that happened during the. Did you hear that?
No.
Maybe you didn't. Oh well, someone apparently just followed me on um, because the follow alert, I heard it through my headset. So someone apparently
Oh,
just followed
okay.
me on Twitch, even though
Probably.
I'm not streaming right now.
That's interesting. Probably salute your shorts because you just told them about this
Yeah,
whole thing.
it might have been. It might have been. So we've got
Yeah,
Phoenix with the
first
early
ever,
lead here.
say first ever follow alert when you're not actually streaming.
Yeah, and recording, really really strange. So Phoenix with the early lead, 11-6 at this point, and with Sand peeling, it seems that his games, you really don't know who's going to win until the start of the second half. Um, it seems like one team or the other really breaks out at the start of the third quarter with him.
Yeah, I would say overall from the stuff that I watch, again, I watch mostly my games, but no lead is safe in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I know that considering that you have come back against me multiple times. I remember one time I was up 21 against you in the fourth quarter. You came back and beat me in overtime.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
And
I don't
that's,
know how that happened.
well, it happened because my team started doing the ridiculous sag back defense and just left your star player wide open for every single three. Maloney and Stockton. Just left Maloney and Stockton open the entire time, and you were just making three after three. I think you had like 16 threes in that game or something like that. It was ridiculous. But yeah, like you said, the teams really have been balancing out a whole lot because I remember the first 2 weeks I had a huge lead as far as the standings go, but now I'm tied with you for third place. So
Yeah, also when I started out kind of like towards the back of the pack or towards the middle, and I've been slowly inching my way forward.
and
I'm into playoff contention.
and because of that, I really haven't been worrying too much about how the top four teams have been working out. I've been worrying more about RCS and Ranium lately because I don't want them to pass me because right now I'm solidly in playoff contention. But if those guys keep winning and if I keep losing, they're going to pass me. So really, the past few days I've been rooting for RCS and WoW to lose, no matter who they're playing against.
Oh yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
So we've got number
Still pretty
Here's
tight game here.
Boston leading by one. Number
That
10 for
was a
Boston
brick.
right there, that's McMillan. Now, McMillan was the player that you picked thinking he was a power forward because my rosters were a little bit screwed up when we did the draft. You remember that?
That's right. Yeah, Darren McMillan.
Yep,
Is that the right name?
I think so. Got one thing that's good about this game is how often they do substitutions. I really like that because there were some other games I was looking at before we started this tournament that didn't do substitutions, and that would just make the bench draft unimportant.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely definitely made it so your entire roster gets used, except for your two off players depending on the position. Because I think I have three shooting guards, but the one who you place in third in the list will never play.
Yeah, I've got three small forwards, and Dale Ellis, who was actually went to the University of Tennessee, played at the University of Tennessee, one of the best uh, players in UT history. He never plays on my team because he's the third small forward in my rotation.
Yeah, they're Boston start doing that double team offense at the top now.
And Sand's doing it in the backcourt, playing like a full court press almost.
He's gonna try to lay up there in double coverage.
Yeah, the defense really. Sand Peelin's defense destroyed me in the last game that we played against each other because he didn't score that many points against me. Normally, Sand Peelin just outscores his opponents, and that's how he ends up winning. But against me last time, it was his defense that came up big. A
Yeah,
nice
that's
little.
something I'd be interested in for breakaway.
Yes.
I can't say. Is it? It's not called a breakaway in basketball. It's called a fast break.
No, I've heard it called a breakaway as well. Either way,
Oh, okay.
most of the time, fast break or transition points or breakaway. But most of the time, you hear fast break.
Yeah, I thought that breakaway was a hockey term.
Yeah, tomato, tomato.
Right.
Pretty low scoring game to start out with.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Sandpilins, like you said, with his ridiculous scoring. He can put up about 120, but yeah, we'll be right around the 20-point mark for each after the first quarter.
We've got Akeem Olajuwon for Boston standing out on the perimeter for some reason. That's another thing that can drive you crazy about your the calm play sometimes is the center just decides to stand out on the perimeter and just stay there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have Dikembe Mutombo, which is not somebody you want out there, and he stands out there and he'll shoot a three sometimes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen you complain about him several times when you which we need to see that type of stream again. That type of restream again, Buzz.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
it
nice
just hasn't
buzzer
worked
beater.
out.
Did you
Yeah,
see that?
nice
See that buzzer beater right there? Okay, so Phoenix leads by one. but neither team's shooting particularly well. I mean, usually good field goal percentage in this game is like in the 60s.
Yeah, both very low, so very defensive heavy game here.
Started
And
second quarter now.
that is I don't know if it's 100%, but it seems like that's the main statistic differential is just your field goal percentage. Um, anytime you have like 65 or above, I think you're pretty much guaranteed to win.
Field goal percentage and turnovers. Turnovers
Yeah.
are huge in this game. Sometimes, turnovers would be like 20 to 11. So that's really huge.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, I mean, if that works out, that's at least 10 points.
Which competitor in this league do you find the most satisfying to defeat?
Most satisfying? Yeah, it would have to just go back to my old rivalry personal opinions, definitely. So I'd have to say it would be you or Rose City Saint,
Well,
just
you've
because
you've
a
definitely
lot of
been
tournament
doing you've definitely been doing a good job against me lately. I think you're 3-1 against me. I'm not sure what your record is against RCS though.
Yeah, that was after like halfway through the season, but it seems like I'm just a little bit above 50% on everybody, so just doing okay. You know, I don't know. My team's playing a lot better than the way it started out. Oh, there's a goofy little bounce off the rim. Sometimes it'll
Yeah.
bounce up there and go in. The ball kind of teleports a foot over to get
Yep.
in.
Whenever it bounces almost straight up like that, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to go in like that.
Well, that was a good pump fake there. Got everybody to
Yep.
bite on it and able to get a clean shot.
A little bit of a dream shake. I don't know. I'm sure if was that Akeem Olajuwon. It might have been Akeem. If it was Akeem, you can call that the dream shake.
Is that what
Something
they
that
call it? I never heard that.
Yeah, the Dream Shake. It became famous in 1995 when David Robinson won the MVP that year, and in the playoffs, Hakeem Olajuwon was just schooling him the whole time, and he did this one move that was like a double fake and then a layup, and it just completely faked Robinson out of his shoes,
Huh.
and they called it the Dream Shake.
So that would have been San Antonio versus Houston.
Yes, in 1995, and San Antonio that year. I mean, not San Antonio, Houston that year won the championship, and they also set a record for most road wins in playoff history because they were like a 6 seed when the playoffs started. No one saw it coming. Them winning the championship that year.
See, they were kind of a mainstay though. They were always in the finals. At least
They,
the Bulls played them in the finals a couple times.
no, the Bulls never played them, but they were always in the mid '90s. They were always in the mix.
So
Um,
okay, so it was just the years where Jordan was retired, I guess, the 2 years.
that's when they won it. Yep, when Jordan was did his early retirement slash some people believe that there's a conspiracy theory where Jordan was actually suspended by David Stern because of his gambling problem. Have you heard about that
No,
conspiracy
really.
theory?
No, I haven't. I know that those guys, you talk. I've heard some stories about you know all those guys, Carl Malone and Charles Barkley, and they would wager like 10 grand on a round of golf and that kind of stuff, but let alone to
Oh,
the casinos.
well, Jordan was on a different level when it came to gambling like that. Like he would face like pro golfers one on one, and he would like bet them $1 million or something like that he would beat them, and then he would lose, of course. Um, he like gathered up so much debt against guys. There's actually a really funny video of a pro golfer or an interview of a pro golfer that says something like, I think golf is the only time when Michael keeps his tongue in his mouth, except when he's wagging it, telling me how good he is. But I enjoy taking money from him."
I mean, it was such a pro athlete. You figured he'd be like really good at. I mean, I'm sure he's decent, but
Yeah,
but yeah, you can't go up against your pros. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, yeah, he would definitely be better than the average person, but because Jordan, that was his second favorite sport was golf. I mean, I guess it's his favorite now, really, because I'm sure he plays it almost every day.
Yeah, actually, when I was in college, I had a buddy who went to school in it was like over by Romeoville. There was like some private club that he rented a house right on that golf course, and it was like one of Jordan's like favorite Chicagoland courses or whatever. So apparently, the rumor was he played there all the time.
Cool. Nice
But
defense there by Mark Price, by the way. Just standing there while Kevin Johnson drains the three. But anyway.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I would hang out at this old house on the side of the highway with the golf course in his backyard, and we would just, late in the day, just walk out there and play some holes illegally.
Yeah, you know what? My cousin actually used to live. He used to live in South Carolina. Well, his family used to live in South Carolina when he was like a teenager, and we visited there once. And there was a golf course right outside in his backyard. And sometimes we would just walk down there and just play on. It was, I believe, it was hole number 8 is what it was, and we would just walk on down there and just kind of mess around on the putting green sometimes.
Yeah, I always say if it's not busy, you could just go out there and play play a couple holes, and then you just walk right back into his backyard and do it again if you want to.
Yeah, I remember the owner drove by one time and yelled at him for doing it, and ever since then, anytime he saw a car, he would just run away as fast as he could.
Oh yeah, yeah. We saw the I can't think of what they're called. The guy who keeps track of what's going on the course. I saw him driving out to us on his golf cart, and we just picked up our stuff and walked back to his property before he got to us.
Nice.
We knew we were gonna get kicked off.
Did you see that? A 360 and he like hit his head on the backboard.
Yeah, I like went through a double team.
Threw a double team right into the backboard and just went out of bounds. Very interesting dunk there by Sand. Nice job, Sand. Another block. Oh, very similar play, actually. Oh, and Delk getting frustrated and just runs right into his the person he's defending.
There's a nice play. I like it's rare in this game because you always have your mainstays of the shooting guard trying to drive the lane, or they pass around for days and days. But every once in a while, you see like a nice passing play where they kind of like get it to a guy who's open and he shoots it in
Yeah,
the key.
that was a nice little hook shot. That was Vlade Divac who made that, actually. But yeah, this game is so heavily guard dominant that you rarely see plays like that. It's really nice when you see the alley-oops as well. Those can be really satisfying.
Yeah, it's just the problem is you only get a few of those per game.
Here's the matchup we wanted to see. Kevin Johnson against Mark Price. And Delk with the 3. Drains it.
Very nice.
Still a pretty low-scoring game. Usually Sand is like up in the high 50s by halftime. But lately it has been his defense that's been winning it for him. Boston with the slight lead, though, at this point.
There's a good, decent passing play, kind of a give and go there for Kevin Johnson and who was that? Ceballos or Hunter?
Sabonis.
Sabonis, sorry.
Yeah, Sabonis was one of the best European players of all time. He like won 6 MVPs or something like that in the Euro League. He didn't come into the NBA until he was like 30 or something like that. Kind of how Tony Kukoc did, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how popular that was. When guys would come over from those European leagues late in their career.
Back then it wasn't, but now it's there's a lot more European players. Really, it grew a whole lot ever since Tony Kukoc came over.
Oh, there's a nice fast break for Kevin Johnson to get the easy 2 right before the half.
So Sandpielen takes the lead going into halftime by 1. Tight game, not exactly high scoring, but and actually Eddie Jones is the player of the game so far, not Kevin Johnson, which we're so used to.
All right.
For Phoenix, Mark Price predictably for Boston, and it looks like Boston shot pretty well in that quarter. Their field goal percentage went up quite a bit. Oh, here's the trivia question. Who was the rookie with the highest points per game average in the 93-94 season? Do you have any idea?
Oh, no, that's difficult. Would that be people who were on the rookie roster in NBA Jam?
Actually, probably
No.
Yes.
It's possible. Like the tournament edition NBA Jam, I think came around that time, so that might have been somebody to choose from.
Maybe Grant Hill or Jason Kidd. Oh wait, 94. I think Chris Webber was a rookie that year. I'll go with Chris Webber.
That sounds like a good choice.
Or maybe it was Sean Bradley, who had like one good year in his career. He became most famous for being in Space Jam.
See, I don't even remember. Was he one of the guys who got his powers taken away?
Sean Bradley was the 7'6" guy, the really, really tall white guy.
Okay, yeah.
And also Grandmama was in Space Jam. And is he on this game? Wait a minute. No,
Somebody
Larry Johnson.
draft.
Who has Larry Johnson?
Yeah,
Trying to
somebody
remember.
drafted him, but I
Oh,
don't
Wow
remember.
Radium. Wow Radium has Larry Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Again, he was a guy who was popular. I mean, I know he was a solid player, but he wasn't like a great player, and he wasn't a great player for very long either.
Right. Well, he won Rookie of the Year, and he had a good couple of years his first few years, but then he probably had injury issues or something like that, and just never really developed further.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean, I
can't
know he
remember.
was.
I can't remember
I
exactly what happened to him, but yeah, he did. After his first few years, he did kind of fizzle out.
I mean, I remember a lot of his marketing stuff because I really liked Larry Johnson.
He was on Family Matters one time. Did you see that episode?
Oh, yeah.
As
Yes. I can
Grandmama.
talk about Family Matters. Yeah, when because Eddie bails on Steve for the 2-on-2 competition, and he ends
Yep.
up getting Grandmama. That's great too because like you think Steve is going to be a totally lame, and he's just like really good at basketball.
Yeah. Apparently, Jaleel White had some really good skills.
Yeah, I actually heard he had like opportunity for a Division 1 scholarship or something like that, but he ended up staying with his acting career.
I think he's
I
like a
don't.
producer now. I think that's
Oh,
what he does now.
I'm sure he's doing just fine. He probably cleaned up
I think he
back
also,
in the '90s.
I think he did like a sports column at one point as well on ESPN. But yeah, in that episode with Grandmama, the guy that Eddie bails Steve for is actually Eddie Winslow's brother in real life. What's that?
Oh,
Darius McCrary, I believe is his name. Darius
yeah,
McCrary's. They called him the Spider in the episode, but he was his brother in real life.
Spider. Spider. That's so good. That's such a '90s sitcom name of like the guy who's around for one episode.
There was a basketball player whose nickname was the Spider, John Sally. There was the Spider, and Dennis Rodman was the Worm. When they were both on the Pistons.
Ah, yes, I remember. I remember the Worm.
The Spider and the Worm. I don't know what Dennis Rodman was the Worm because he would just kind of wiggle in there to get the rebound, but I don't remember exactly why John Sally was the Spider. Oh, KJ being pushed backwards right there. And there he goes, just driving into the lane right there. So Phoenix has opened up with a little lead right here. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Like we said, usually the person that comes out on fire at the beginning of the second half is the one that wins whenever it's a sand peeling game. So we'll see if that trend continues here.
Yeah, there's an important rebuttal there by Boston to keep it close here. Don't let it get out of hand.
Yeah, that's really important for
Johnson.
Boston at this point. They need to make a run right now, I think.
Johnson's gotten close to being forced in the backcourt violation a couple times. Tried a layup under a triple team, didn't go.
And most of the time he does make that though. Reggie Miller's been pretty quiet in this game. Usually when Boston has a big game, it's usually because of Reggie.
Yeah, it seems like Price has been doing most of the ball handling.
I really like the ball movement. Yeah, I really
Yeah, it
liked the ball
worked.
movement during that. I think that might have even been a triangle offense right there that Boston was doing, because that is an option in your plays. You actually can turn on plays in this game to see what play they're doing, but in order to do that, you have to actually be playing. It doesn't do it in com versus com play.
Right, yeah. So the simulation, it just changes it whenever.
The computer just calls whatever play he wants, basically, is how it works. And I guess that's how it works.
So that's another thing that drives me nuts. Where Johnson was moving with it and he was covered, but he had it looked like he had Mills or Jones over there on the side, wide open, and he just won't make that pass.
Yeah, that does happen a lot. And also when there's the slightest chance that the fast break won't work, that the players in front of you, sometimes they just pull back and don't go for the fast break. Very, very conservative on the fast breaks often. Or sometimes they run down the court and then make a pass like 20 feet behind the back. That seems to happen a lot as well. Oh, there's one of those funny bounces.
Yep, we got the teleport shot. Phoenix keeping that lead.
Yeah, it gives Phoenix the double-digit lead now, so looking pretty rough right here for Boston. They need to make a run.
Yeah, they keep taking badly timed jumpers right there at the top of the key and either getting blocked or covered to the extent they can't get a clean shot off. They've done that like three in a row. There's 4 in a row.
Yep. Oh, and wide open.
Easy two for Delk.
Yeah, Phoenix is really starting to blow this game out of the water at this point.
Call timeout, try to slow things down a little bit. It's rare, but there is time where your team will use that to their advantage as far as advancing the ball up to the court and then taking more substitutions and stopping the momentum of the other team. It seems kind of rare. They never do it at the end of the first half, but if they're down by a bit, there's just like a little interesting scenario where a team will try to do that to come back at the end.
Most of the time when timeouts are taken, it's at the very end of the game when it's really close. You'll see teams go back and forth with timeouts. So a close game usually takes a whole lot longer than a game that's pretty than a blowout or a game that's pretty obvious in hand. But yeah, you don't see timeouts very often. So at the end of the close games, you'll see them a lot to advance the ball to half court. In fact, one game when I was against Justin, Reggie Miller kept on killing me. They would call timeout and then give the ball to Miller, and he would sink a shot and take the lead. And we were just going back and forth, back and forth. It's Juwan Howard, one of the Fab Five, who just took that shot.
Yeah, that's another miss. The Celtics are missing all over. Those short jumpers are just not going down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Everything's fallen for Phoenix as well in this third quarter.
Yeah, they just had a huge swing because not too long ago it was only a 6-point lead.
Yeah, Sands' team they've just been getting open really well in this third quarter, while Justin's been really struggling. I think it's the defensive speed of Phoenix that really bothers a lot of teams.
All right, finally make a jumper from the top of the key there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this lead is. Well, it's possible. I mean, it just depends on how the beginning of the fourth quarter starts. Oh, and that's a way to end the third quarter.
That helps. It seems it's always like that in a lot of video games where they just, for some reason, the make percentage of those full court shots are way high. Like in this game, it's almost like NBA Jam where it goes in like half the time. It seems to go in a lot in this game.
Just about. Oh, Jamal Mashburn. Okay. I can't remember where he played in college, but I was thinking it was Chris Webber. But yep, Jamal Mashburn. He was another player who had a really good couple of first years in the NBA and then never really developed into a star.
I don't even know if I've heard of him. Again, I'm not the best when it comes to basketball.
He was pretty hyped up coming out of college. He might have even gone to Kentucky, but I don't remember exactly. That's Keith Van Horn for Phoenix. One of those really tall white guys who stepped outside and started shooting the three, like your favorite player, Detlef Schrempf.
That's right, Detlef Schrempf. So yeah, it's the whole thing. I have to stick with it. I mean, I'm at the point where I think he's a better player than what I gave him credit for. He just had a couple of bad games, and I was like, that's it for you. But like as a number 2, I like him.
Yeah, it's I might even have to mix up my rotation the way my team has not been doing well lately. I mean, last week I had week 3 I had a 3-4 record. I think week 4 I had a 3-4 record as well. So I might have to shake up my lineup a little bit. I'm kind of scared
Yeah,
too, though, at the same time.
right. Yeah, that's basically where I've been. Just because taking Shrimp out actually increased my defense a little bit, and my team is not very defensive heavy. Other than Olajuwon, but he's not even that great at blocks from what he was supposed to be on paper.
Yeah, I've
So
been
it was just a little bit of a difference for my team. I don't know.
yeah, I've been
I would
thinking about
definitely
taking
draft differently.
Duncan out of the starting lineup because he always seems to take a lot of shots at the end of games, and especially close games, and misses them. So maybe if I have him out of the starting lineup, he won't be in the fourth quarter if it's a close game.
Yeah, that's the problem though, because you can just set the roster, but you can't control what the computer is actually going to do with it. So
Hmm. Oh, nice little putback right there by Mills. See, Mills is having a really good game, 6 of 7 from
yeah,
the
got his
field,
own rebound
and another block for Sandpeeling.
and a miss. I mean, this is just the story of the second half. Nothing. They're always shooting from that area, and they're always missing.
And then you get good passes like that for Phoenix to wide open shots. That's the way the third quarter went. It's the way the start of the fourth has gone.
Yeah, say hopefully they can change something a little bit here. Calling a timeout, substituting your players, maybe get a better matchup, slow
Yeah,
down the momentum.
they
I
need
really don't.
they need Phoenix's defense to change. They need them to do a sagging type of defense so they can make a whole lot of threes quickly. But it doesn't look like it. I mean, Phoenix just keeps scoring and scoring, so it's not looking good at all for Boston.
Yeah, that was Nash. Go down the middle. Did Nash have a mustache?
Yeah, he did. He did have a mustache. I don't know if
Oh,
he ever did in real life,
and I
but
was thinking, yeah, Sprite does, but I was like, yeah, I always remember him. He always reminded me of, he looked like Tom Petty. He had that same haircut,
hmm
same
hmm
kind of face, just always long hair, and he was just like
Actually, when he
brilliant
first
at
when he
passing.
first came into the league, he did have short hair when he first came in, but his hair did grow out, and when he was at his best, he did have that long hair.
Yeah,
Oh, Miller's shot rejected, but yeah, he does have a fabulous stash in this game.
it's just like there's only so many sprites for him, but like it's like if they had any facial hair, like they don't even have a beard sprite. It's just like the mustache.
Yeah, it's the '70s stash. That's beautiful. We can call it the BuzzThunder stash. We could call it that.
Oh, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
101 to 74. Yeah, this is one of the biggest blowouts I've seen in this game. 27 points at this point.
Yeah, they're probably going to score again here.
Oh,
Oh no,
nice
they
little
just
steal.
handed over.
It's pretty much set in stone at this point. I don't think it's possible to come back. Comebacks are possible in this game, but when you're down this far, midway through the fourth quarter, I just don't see it happening.
And there you go. You just need that to happen like
15 more times
exactly.
in a
Exactly.
row. And one thing that the computer does really well in this game on offense is dribble out the clock when they're in the lead. If you have like a 5, 7 point lead, something like that with a minute left, they're really, really good about taking their time and working the clock. And defensively, they're really bad about intentional fouls because I don't think the computer does intentional fouls at all in this game.
No.
Which is
No, yeah, that,
nice that the game doesn't last forever. I kind of like it like that. But at the same time, if
yeah.
one team is up by like 5 points with less than a minute left, you know the game's over.
Yeah, if you're down and watching under a minute, you're just like, "Oh my god, do something."
But at the
Double
same,
team a guy and they just keep passing and keep passing. But then even when you go on offense, like and there's not a lot of time left, they sometimes your offense will just keep passing too. They don't play with a sense of urgency, where they should be
right?
like shooting immediately.
Yeah, but in real life, in games, the intentional fouls and you know how basketball, the last minute can take like a half hour. Oftentimes, that it can be extremely frustrating to watch sometimes.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I can't watch basketball. That kind of stuff just drives me crazy.
It happens in football a lot too,
Oh yeah, geez,
with all the
so many
timeouts and
flags.
running out of bounds. And the timeouts to freeze the kicker and penalties, of course, and review all the
Oh yeah.
different things that happen. I remember there was a college football game. I think it was Florida against LSU, and the last minute took like over a half hour because there were so many reviews, so many timeouts. It was just ridiculous.
I mean, this year I didn't know this, but you can review penalties now. Certain penalties you can review.
Yeah, that just
So
more and more.
it's kind of, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Like, they have reviews in baseball now. It's just like, I don't know.
It would be
Can't just play the
fine.
game.
It would be fine if they would just look at it once and then determine. But they look at it for like 5 minutes. I mean, like, why are you taking
Oh
so
yeah.
long to look at it? I mean, I love review in tennis. Review in tennis is the way exactly it should be. You look at it, they've got that technology or whatever, and you look at it once, and then that's the ruling, and that's it. You move on. But in
Yeah,
football,
that's
they've got to figure out how much time is left on the clock. They got to figure out exactly where the ball is spotted, and it just takes forever.
yeah. I know you're not a big hockey fan, but hockey is the same way. They rarely have review, but
Right,
if they
right.
need to review a goal or something, um, basically by the time the ref like gets over there to put on the headphones, like they've already made the decision because they have guys watching it,
Yes.
like a committee, and they're always just like, yeah, that was not a goal, and then it's no goal, and the game starts up again.
Hmm. They're just there to figure out how much time's left on the clock or whatever.
Yeah, it's just nowhere near what they can do now. Oh, that was a nice pass.
Got the steal and then just throw it right out of bounds. That's another thing that drives you crazy about this game. I haven't seen it happen very much in this game so far, but sometimes your player will just throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. And it's almost like the computer can't compensate for another player getting picked. Like if his
Yes.
momentum changes, it just keeps throwing it to that spot where the guy can't be there anymore.
Hmm. All right, it's Miller time. Down by
Yeah, I was
27
gonna
with
say.
15 seconds.
I don't know. I know he can do. I know he can do. What was it? Eight points in three
8 points
seconds.
and it was 8 points in 8 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he can do 27.
Oh, and we've got oh
Well,
yeah,
now we
great.
get our first free throws of the game here.
I'm so happy we're getting these free throws right here with 2 seconds left in a blowout. Yeah, nice job, Tony Delk, making one of those free throws, and another
Oh,
full court shot. At least
wow.
the Celtics went out in style, even though they
Oh,
went out. They went out in
yeah.
style.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was probably like more than half of their 3-point shots were those end of the quarter.
Yeah, it just might have been. I'm not sure how many. Let's see. Yeah, they only made three pointers the whole game, and two of them were the full court shots. Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
Mr. Stevens all
110
the time.
to 87. So Sandpeeling gets another win. That puts him 2 games ahead of Justin. So he's taken a solid lead to in the number one seed.
Yeah, Sand's looking really good, but again, all you got to do is get your foot in the door since this all seems so even. Starting a 7-game series, um, just got
Yeah,
to get there.
I haven't noticed any kind of home court advantage. So if you make the playoffs, anything can happen. Is the way I see it.
And let's see, how many more games do we have? Say
We
we're
have
about what,
about
3/4
12.
way.
We have about 12 more games to go because there's
12 more.
6 weeks and there's 7 games each week.
Okay.
So that's how many more games we have until the playoffs, which will just be a 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 matchup, best of 7 in both of those, and then the finals will happen. That's a best of 7 as well.
Sounds good.
All right, Buzz, that's the end of that game. Anything else to add in the final seconds?
No. Yeah, just watch out. I'm keeping the more that Shrimp sits on the bench, my team gets better.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Buzz, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks, Coach. You too.